All right, guys, so this is example number 3. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different because we're not doing a side-to-side thing here. This is an up and down. We've got Dahlia on the edge of a cliff. No, she's not going to jump. She's going to throw a rock off. So here's Dahlia. She's got her rock. She's going to throw the rock up in the air. Okay, now it does tell me that the cliff is 30 meters tall. And she throws the rock up in the air at a speed of 25 meters a second. Okay, and now it's asking for the maximum height achieved by the rock. Okay, so we do know that the rock's going to go up, and then it's going to come back down. Now what I'm looking at here is this position right here. What is its maximum height? So I really don't care at this point about any of the rest of the falling here, right? All I care about right now is the top. So I'm going to start writing down some information for that, right? I know that when my initial point is not going to be when she's holding it, because the acceleration when she's throwing it will be different than the acceleration when she lets go. There's different things going on when she's holding on to it and when it's freely falling or freely flying through the air. All right, so we're going to go ahead and our initial velocity is going to be right as she lets go. So the initial velocity was given to us. That's 25 meters per second. Okay, we're looking, we can go ahead and identify our initial position as well. We're going to say that that's 0 meters. So this place right here where she lets go, that's going to be 0 meters. All right. Now I'm saying that she's letting it go. I guess really this is what we want to be 0 meters. Okay. We're also going to assume that the height of the cliff is the height from where she's throwing it. All right. So 0 meters. Lovely. Okay. Now what else do we have? What else do we have? Well, we have the acceleration. And I know you're saying, wait, where's the acceleration? I don't see acceleration in there. Well, what's causing acceleration when she lets go of the rock? It's gravity. And we talked about gravity in class. We said that gravity always, on the surface of the earth anyway, we're assuming Dahlia's on earth, gravity always has an acceleration of 10 meters per second squared. Now in this scenario, I've already identified the upward velocity as positive, which means I'm going to identify my acceleration as negative. Okay? So I've got acceleration, negative 10 meters per second squared. I got the initial position. I got the initial velocity. I actually have one other piece of information that isn't given. It doesn't say it, but because of my final location here, I do have one other piece of information. That piece of information is the final velocity. What is the final velocity? What is the velocity of the rock when it gets to this maximum height? Well, it goes up, it slows down, it comes to rest just for an instant at the top, and then it starts speeding up as it comes down. My final velocity here is 0 meters per second, because at the top of its arc, it won't move. That's the point that I want, at the very top, right before it starts coming down. And of course, the question is, what's the maximum height? So I'm looking for this final position. I want to know what's the difference between my 0 and this final position up here. All right, so which equation do I want? Well, I don't want one that has time, right? So I don't want the first one, and I don't want the second one, because I don't have any information about time. I'm going to try the third one here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, we'll put in our final velocity. We're going to put in the final velocity, which is 0 squared, equals the initial velocity squared. The initial velocity was 25 squared, plus 2 times the acceleration, which is negative 10. It's got to be negative 10, times the final position minus the initial position. And there you go. Now you should be able to solve for x. All right, I'll let you go ahead and do the mathematics. Notice that I didn't put any units in there. The reason I didn't put units is because everything's in meters and seconds, and everything should end up giving me exactly what I expect in the end. So go ahead, figure that number out. Hopefully you'll get what I got, and I got that x is 31.25 meters. Now again, it looks like this guy right here only has one sig fig. This guy has two significant figures, so I'm going to write my answer in significant figures of 1, so 30 meters. There you go. That's the maximum height. Let's go on to letter B. After how long will the rock be at its maximum height? So that's actually the same information, right? Same initial and final when she lets go until it gets to the top. Okay, but this time it wants me to find the time. So we can use any of the equations. Again, I'm going to use this guy right here just because he looks like the easier one. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to put in the final velocity, which I have as 0. Then I'll put in the initial velocity, which was 25, plus the acceleration, which is -10. And then times the time, which is what I'm looking for. And so you should be able to get your time, which is 25 seconds. 2.5 seconds, which, if I do it in one significant figure, then that would be 3 seconds. Okay? You should always show both these. Show what you get when you do your work, and then show your final answer dependent on the significant figures in the question. Okay? All right, that was not too bad, right? Let's move on to letter C. What is letter C? What will be the speed of the rock when? Very good question, Mr. Bywater. There it is. What will be the speed of the rock when it gets to the same height it was thrown from? All right, so now our scenario is changing, right? Our initial height is still going to be right here when she throws it. Our final height is going to be at the same height that she threw it from. All right, so we're not looking at this top position anymore. We're looking from here. It's going to go up, and then it's come back down to the height that it came from. So what information do we have? Well, we still know the initial velocity, right? The initial velocity is still 25. All right, what else do I have? I know the acceleration. The acceleration is still -10 meters per second squared. It's constant. Gravity is the only thing causing it to change its motion. That is my acceleration, -10 meters per second. I have my initial position, which is 0, and I also have my final position, which is 0, because it comes back to this same vertical position of 0 meters. All right. Now, it is asking for the final speed, for v. All right. Is there an equation that I can use that will help me answer this question? You may recognize that the last one has everything that I need. Right? I can take my final velocity. I have the initial velocity, sorry, that should be a v, initial velocity squared. I have the acceleration, and I have the displacements. So watch this. This is nuts. Nuts is in like crazy good, right? My final velocity is going to equal my initial velocity plus 2 times the acceleration, which is -10, times the displacement, the final position minus the initial position. And look at this. 0 minus 0 is 0. This whole thing goes away, and I'm left with v squared equals 25 squared, and therefore v equals 25? What? Now I got a problem with that. Okay? The problem is that this is telling my velocity is positive. Why did that happen? Well, because I cheated, right? That's actually not how the math works. this is how the math works. You have to square the 25, so v squared equals 625. Now you're going to square root both sides, and anytime you square root, you're going to get that v equals both positive and negative 25 meters per second. Which one is it at this point right here as my rock is traveling downwards? Well, it is the negative 25. So my velocity is negative 25 meters per second. Yes, it has exactly the same magnitude. Now that should make sense. The displacement from the bottom to the top is the same as from the top to the bottom. The acceleration is the same because it's gravity. Everything is the same, so therefore it has the same amount of time to slow down as it does to speed up. Therefore the speed should be the same. And of course in sig figs, I will say that v equals negative 30 meters per second, one significant figure. That's letter C. This is going well. Let's do another one. Let's go on to letter D. How long will the rock be in the air before hitting the ground? Okay, so I have a new position now, right? Now I'm starting here when she releases it, and I'm finishing on the ground. Okay, so letter D wants to know how long it'll be in the air, and letter E wants to know what will be the speed when it hits the ground. Okay, so I'm looking for both the time and the final velocity there. So I'm going to make myself a little more space here. So let's go ahead and list the information, right? I'm starting, again, my initial position can be 0. My initial velocity is still 25 meters per second. My acceleration is still negative 10 meters per second squared. The other piece of information, of course, is my final position. The final position is the position from where I started, which was 0. It is 30 meters down. So my final position needs to be 30 meters per, just 30 meters. Now, a lot of times students are concerned. They say, yeah, but if you just go down, you're skipping all of this up here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because all of that is taken care of in the kinematics equations. You saw in letter C that the speed was the same. It doesn't matter if I throw it up at 25 or if I throw it down at 25. Those two things are exactly the same. The only difference is what happens in the middle. But as far as the next 30 meters, it doesn't matter. The 25 is 25. All right? So I've got x naught, v naught, a, and x. And it does want how long will the rock be in the air. So that's my time. So I do want to look for time here. So let's find an equation that has x's, a, v, and t. And hopefully you'll say, well, this has final velocity, which I don't know yet. And this one also has final velocity, which I don't know yet. That leaves the middle guy right here. So let's go with the middle guy. So we'll go x, which is negative 30, is equal to the initial position plus the initial velocity times time plus 1/2 times negative 10 times time squared. At this point, you're either going to need to know how to do some algebra or know how to use your calculator. Okay, I'll walk you through this first one, how I would do it if I was trying to go a little bit less calculator-ish, but I'll show you the way that I would work it, all right? Actually, you know what, we do have a displacement, so there's not really a nice way to do it. You're gonna have to use your calculator. That's the reality. So let's go ahead and solve it. This is a quadratic, which means I'm going to want it in standard form, a squared plus ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, and then factor it or do the quadratic formula. So I'm going to rearrange it as I go. So here's this guy, 1/2 of negative 10 will be negative 5t squared. I've got the plus 25t, and then I'm going to add the 30 to the other side so that it's equal to 0. At this point, it's quadratic formula time, or if you can figure out a way to factor it, more power to you. And in this case, I notice that they're all multiples of 5. So I'm actually just going to divide everything by 5 and see what it looks like. In fact, I'm going to divide everything by negative 5 because I don't like having a negative 5 in the beginning. So that'll give me a t squared minus 5t minus 6 equals 0. Again, if you've got a calculator, you know, be my guest. Plug it in, use the graphing feature, use the solving feature, whatever you need to get that t there. Here I should then be able to go t minus 6 and t plus 1. That'll give me the minus 6 and then the minus 5. Again, if factoring is not your thing, don't do it. I got t equals 6 and I got t equals negative 1. All right, and those are my two answers. Which one makes sense? Well, the time equals 6 seconds is the one that's going to do me good here. And so that's how long it takes to hit the ground. Flies up in the air. Remember we had, it took 3 seconds. Okay, and letter B, it took 3 seconds to get up to the top. That was actually in the 2.5 seconds, right? And so it's going to take a little bit longer to get back down. Recognize that it's not twice as long to get back down. It's actually longer because it only took 2.5 seconds to get to the top. It'll take 2.5 seconds to get back down to 0, and then the last 30 meters, it's going to cover that really fast in 1 second for that final piece. Okay, so that's letter D. Letter E is what is the speed? And I've got all the information in the world now, and so I can use any of the equations. I'm going to use, again, the one that to me is the easiest, which is this guy right here. And go ahead and put in your numbers. So the final velocity as it hits the ground is equal to the initial velocity plus negative 10, which is my acceleration, times the time, and I should get my final velocity, which is 35 meters per second. And it should be, look, this negative 10 times 6 will be negative, so it should be negative 35, which makes sense because it's going down at that point. My final velocity should be negative. All right, that's it. I think 3 examples is good enough. That's it for tonight. We'll work some examples in class tomorrow. Hasta luego.